Hello everyone, it's Just a Brick Gaming here today, and today I'm going to be doing a deck profile. Now, if you haven't seen Loom of Yu-Gi-Oh's video, definitely recommend watching it so you know the context of this video. So, I'll do a brief explanation. So, I did go to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament a couple of months back, and I brought a pretty casual deck, right? Of course, got my butt absolutely handed to me, and then some other stuff happened at the end. I don't want to spoil it. Definitely watch Loom's video about it. It is definitely a good watch, even from my perspective as someone who was involved in the story. But anyway, so here's the deck I used for it. Now this might be not the exact deck I used, mainly because I dismantled the deck for other decks I was building. So this is pretty much what I've used. So I used 2 hero signals, 1 hero emerging, 3 negate attacks, 1 magic cylinder, 1 jar of avarice, 1 double cyclone. Let me try and center that a bit more. 1 tri-right, fusion sage, fusion sword. I'm going to butcher this name like I do all the time. Mersane blade. Fusion weapon. Ojama Delta Hurricane. Night beam. Alright, I just realised it wasn't in shot then. Night beam. Fusion recovery. Magnum shield. Ojama match. 3 copies of polymerization, because when you're doing a fusion deck you need, I personally say, the max amount of poly. Right, 2 reinforcement of the army. 1 righteous justice, 2 Ojama magics, silent doom, 2 cosmic cyclones, future fusion, Ojama country, elemental bubble man, rot rider, wild heart, goddess with the third eye, wing rebo, necro shade, blade edge, and then 1 of the Ojamas, so Ojama blue, Ojama red, green, black, and yellow. Then I have Elemental Hero, Burstinatrix, Sparkman, Clayman, and Avion. I know this ain't the best of these decks. You know, I could definitely use with more of certain cards. But this was just a complete and utter meme deck. Right? I mainly just designed this deck because I liked elemental heroes from the anime, and Ojamas, they're just goofy, and you know, I'm a bit of a jokester myself. So in terms of the extra deck, I have elemental hero, I can't really read that name, half the time I can't read half these names. It's Ashradio, whatever. No, like I said, I'm not the best with these names. They have, I believe, 2 copies of Flame Wingman in here. Yeah, 2 copies of Flamed Wingman. Got a copy of Steam Healer, Plasma Vice even. Rampart Blaster, Shining Wingman, and then Ojama Knight, Ojama King, then Dark Blight, and then Elemental Hero Thunder Giant. Now, this deck is far from meta, right? It's a complete and utter meme deck, you know. I didn't really go to the tournament expecting to win, in all fairness. Of course, this was like round the first time I decided to go to my first ever tournament, you know. I wasn't expecting to win. I was just expecting to have a bit of fun, you know, a couple of lols with, of course, Elemental Hero and Ojamas. But I say Ojama is a fairly decent archetype if it had more support. Because, you know, when you have, say, let me try and build pretty much a decent Ojama board. So if you have like Ojama King and an Ojama Knight, you know, you could block all of their monster zones. And then if you were to, say you have, where is it? Ojama Country, if I can find where it is. Pretty sure I've passed it. Yeah, if you have Ojama Country set as the field, it basically, let me just quickly read the effect here for you. Once per turn, you can send one Ojama card from your hand to your grave, special summon one Ojama monster from your grave. So if, say, Ojama Knight ended up in your grave, you can pretty much, I don't know, if you have an extra Ojama in your deck, like Ojama Blue, you can just send that to the grave and then, boom, Ojama Knight's back. And I think they have a grave effect. Oh, it's only when destroyed in battle, but yeah. This also, let me try and get it on camera. Yeah, switches the original attack and defense of all monsters on the field. So instead of having 0 attack and 3000 defense, it has 3000 attack and 0 defense, which for Ojama is pretty decent. You know, you can get, say, I believe 5500 attack if you have both these on the field and they have no monsters, so you can just do a direct attack of 5500. Of course, it's not meta enough with stuff like Ryzeal and Malice around now. Yeah, that's the main deck, really. The Ojama and Elemental Hero deck. Of course, you can summon the Elemental Heroes if you like, but yeah, that's mainly just the Ojama deck. I do have a, let me get out of the box here, a Exodia deck, but it's not as good because I don't have all of the Exodia support. I decided to use some Exodia cards and then I had a bit of Egyptian gods in there. Yeah, hope that one's upside down. But yeah, it's got the Sacred Beasts and all these fusion and link monsters are mainly just fodder for Jar of Extravagance, I think it is, or is it Pot of Extravagance? Let me try and find it. Yeah, Pot of Extravagance. Send 3 cards from well, 3 to 6 cards from your extra deck to the grave, which not grave, no, the banish zone, which I personally say is a good card. I don't know, I might do a more in-depth explanation of this deck, really, because I personally like it. It's my second best deck, apart from, as of course you can see, I got Trap Tricks. That's currently the most meta deck I've got. I will, as soon as it's released, do a video on the new Blue Eyes cards with the support in the structure deck, mainly because it's a cheap deck, right? It's a cheap meta deck, and you always, you know, I'm always looking for ways to save a bit of, you know, dosh when it comes to playing Yu-Gi-Oh, because let's face it, Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, it's good and all that, but it's not fun when it's just, you know, you either have a £1,000 deck and you're against a person when with like 3,000, well, like a $30 deck, you know, pound deck, whatever's, you know, whatever currency you're from. Yeah, it's not fair half the time, you know, going against all these really meta decks, but I do like it when Konami makes structured decks that are very cheap, right? That's a win for me, right? Anyway, I'm gonna finish this video now. I was just mainly looking at my Ojama deck, you know, the infamous Ojama Elemental Hero deck that absolutely sucks eggs. I'll admit it's a bad deck. Yeah, that's why I dismantled it in the first place. But that should do it for today, guys. Just a Brit speaking, signing out.